Hey guys, Colbert here. Welcome back to another raid challenge video. I got a fun one for you guys today because we've got the 10x on HP Burn Champions, right? And I wanted to feature something like that, but we all know how good HP Burn is, right? We can see the champions featured right here, all of the AoE HP Burn champions, and that even includes Herndig, by the way. Not Brogni, Skrarg is an HP Burn AoE champion, Geomancer no. Farrakhan the Fat, no. But then we have this guy Mordecai, yes. What I'm going to feature today is single target HP burns and how you can make a team with that to your advantage to even beat stage 25. Let's just have a look at the teams. It's obvious the AoE HP burns are king. Of course, it makes it so much easier to do it. I even made a video with Tunisia the other day. You can definitely check it out where she can solo 25 if you want to. You can have her plus 4 food champions and actually make a solid team with her and farm XP for those champions, plus having Tunisia there to be able to solo it at a relatively good rate at about 50 to 60 seconds to farm it. So let's have a look at the team exactly, and then after I finish, I'll explain how everything works. We go to the dungeons, Spider's Den, and you'll see a surprising list of champions altogether. We're going to do 25, of course, because 20, it's doable. If you can do 25, you can do 20, right? So, look at this. Look at this. I bet none of these champions were the ones you expected for this video. But we have Wretch as an example of what you can use here. If you do have something that applies an HP burn, any champion that applies an HP burn debuff will work in this kind of composition, team composition, right? It doesn't have to be Wretch. Any single target HP burn, ideally he shouldn't be applying more debuffs than this, like many more debuffs than this. Like Farrakhan the Fat applies also to poison, so it can make the team a little bit tricky to work this specific exact team. Then we have the key here to this team, which is Harken Greatblade. And why is she so solid here? Well, the reason for this is her A3 skill, which attacks one enemy, then applies a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and then placing them on all enemies. So you guessed it right here. She will be spreading around that HP burn to all the targets and making it an AoE HP burn team setup. That is pretty basic, right? And there is not that many champions that can do this, by the way, in this game. And especially not so many that can also extend the duration of those debuffs by 2 turns. It will not extend the duration of debuffs on the initial target. That we don't care so much about that. We care about the debuff spread and that it will be taking the HP burn and spreading it around. So you have to have her go exactly after the HP burn is applied, or at least not after many other debuffs are applied. She needs to spread around, obviously, the HP burn. And there's other champions that can do this, by the way, but those are legendaries, and I didn't want to show that in this video. It also makes it more free-to-play friendly in your minds when I do that. But there's other champions that can do this. Let's say to Hanarak, if you have that in mind, she can also do a decrease attack and then a blocks buff, and then also applies a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs, right? Problem with this is that she applies 2 debuffs on her own, then she can possibly spread these 2 instead of the HP burn, and if that happens, basically the run will not work. Okay, that's the issue with, let's say, having 2 Hanarak, but she can still do it. You can get lucky. It will be a random chance on which one to take. Then we have the obvious example of Vizier of Elis, who will make this so much easier to do with his debuff spread, taking 2 random debuffs and then placing it on all enemies and then place it perfectly on himself. Basically, the debuff spread. This is exactly the same thing as what Harken has. And there's many other champions that can do a debuff spread, but unfortunately they don't work as well. We got like Diliana, she's got a debuff spread, but it's only for a specific skill, so don't try and use her. It's a debuff spread, but only for decreased resistance debuff that she does, right? So don't check on her. If you remember, like, she's got a debuff spread effect. Another very solid champion for this is Gerda Brew, which is a daily login champion, but it's a daily login champion after a long time. And it also will just do this, a debuff spread, taking 1 random debuff from the target and placing it on all enemies under weakened debuffs. So this will not work as best with her, and you also need to apply a weaken, so it kind of makes the run even more and more difficult to do if you're using her, but she's a champion that will be eventually available to all. but after a long time where Spider shouldn't be that much of an issue. There's other champions like Xavia that does debuff spread, Magnar, Thylesia, and Glizia, which I'm not going to go into. You can check it on your own. Just search for debuff spread champions. Let's go and have a look at the rest of the team and basically do the run. So on 25, there we go. We have here Lich, which is going to be used for the decreased speed and decreasing turn meter by 100%. That's a 3-turn cooldown, which is very short and will be to our advantage. You of course have Renegade for her 2-turn reduction cooldown skill. And then we of course have Achak the Wendarian, which is an amazing freeze champion for all spiderlings with a 3-turn cooldown, which is quite slow, quite fast, not slow, quite fast, and make this run possible. Okay, let's have a look at the run in action, and hopefully we'll not get resisted or anything like that. If you get resisted in these runs, obviously this will be a factor into, you know, not having a 100% team. But there's a decreased turn meter, no decreased speed. There's another, oh my god, as I said it, I'm gonna keep this in the video, but did you see that? I have enough accuracy for both of the champions, but going for another run here and hopefully will not get resisted. So ideally speed down lands, decrease turn meter lands, there it is. And then HP burn from Wretch, that's good. And then we do the extend, there it is. And once the freeze goes as well, this makes the run way quicker because the spiderlings don't take that action. And now we get the recent for Renegade. That's going to help everybody get their turns in again. All right. There's a freeze again. And this is how it goes. Basically, Leech becomes an MVP here because of the very short cooldown on his turn meter reduction skill, which is very strong compared to other turn meter reduction skills that we have that do so much depletion. This is on 25, which is also reduced by 50% to whatever it does. And then ideally, this run will be quite close from my testings that I've done, and it will be of course much easier if you put in more speed on everybody, so they might take more turns, a little bit more survivability maybe as well. We get another freeze here, and then there's another turn meter reduction, and by the time the boss reaches enough turn meter to get a kill off, it actually dies because of all the HP burns, and that's the run. And it will work on 20 as well. We can just go there and have a look. Actually on 20 it's gonna be way quicker because the it's gonna be quicker because Leech will be able to fully deplete it, but it will have a higher fail rate because of the weak hits, because of these specific two champions, so Wretch and Leech. You can have anything else for 20 and it's still gonna work. So look at that. Unfortunately we didn't get it. There's the HP burn though, so let's see if we can actually beat this one. We do the freeze, weak hits with the freeze as well. Like that's kind of nasty, but I believe we should have it still, even without you know, landing everything. We did land the HP burn, which is the most important one. In terms of turn meter, I think we're okay. It's just that Achak will be going a little bit low here. We need him to do another HP another freeze here for the HP burns to do their full effect, and also for him to actually manage to survive. But I don't think he's not looking like he will do it. It's fine though, as long as we're still getting the procs off. Is Leech gonna die? Harkin might survive though. There it is. Come on, HP burns. We just need a couple to take effect. 2, 3, another one, and there it is. We got the kill. That was a little bit worrisome, but you saw there we had the weak hits with the freezes as well. So this is a team that you can consider. Let's go and have a look at their gear, in case you guys are wondering. And the most important one will be Leech, which was featured here in terms of the speed requirements. I had him at over 260 speed, 255 accuracy, and then everything else is not really required. But it should be helpful to have some masteries, and of course have him fully booked to drop this to 3-turn cooldown, right? I do have War Master, Sniper, and Master Hexer on him, but those are not required. And Leech is a very strong champion for you guys to consider if you have him for this specific role. You can even keep him at level 50. He'll still do the same kind of work. but he will not survive as much if you try to do this on 20. And on 20, he's bad affinity as well. Then we got Harkin here, Great Blade, Harkin, Great Blade, basically with 188 speed. Don't look at the resistance. Obviously, that wasn't needed. It was the accuracy that was needed. I don't even know how I got the resistance. I think I was building something else with her. And what you need here for is for her A3 skill, basically, which doesn't need the books. You can book her out, and I did because of CVC, basically. But you don't need it for this to actually take into effect. And then masteries, again, you don't need them. I even have Helm Smasher with her because I was trying to do, I think it was a damage showcase. Can't remember. But those are not really required to make this team work. You just need the debuff spread effect. Then we have some of the rares that were used here. So we have Renegade, which was built basically with over 150 speed. And she did have some accuracy for a decreased speed to land. But that's not really required. You just need her to do the reset. You don't really need masteries. You don't really even need to book her out for her utility to be there. All right. And then we have Wretch, who was now is level 13. Doesn't really need to be booked. I booked him halfway for some reason and then stopped. And he just has higher speed than almost everybody. All right. 203. He just needs to hit the big spider and land the HP burn. So he has like 335 accuracy, which is not needed. Anything over 250 is fine. And no masteries, just level 13, really, and he works. Any HP burn champion will work. So those are the key champions for this team to work. And of course, Check the Wendering, which is a very unique freeze champion, which the books do help him out to get 100%. The cooldown is much easier to do. You can use other champions for this, but remember, for HP burn AoE comps, you shouldn't be killing off the spiraling. So don't use a lot of stats on them. Don't use critical rate, critical damage. That is basically going to kill them, especially if that champion has like higher multipliers, or you have a lot of crit damage on them, maybe Helm Smasher or War Master. That's going to make your runs a little bit worse. I think you do need the books for a Chag, and you do need the accuracy. 178 there, basically faster than Renegade, so he can land the freeze before the reset happens. That's what you need, and that's the team for this video, guys. I hope you find it helpful, or at least a little bit insightful into what are the possibilities into beating the spider and even beating 25, if that is something that you felt that you were stuck on with some not so much used champions. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.